For the past decade or so, we've all been living our digital lives inside these massive pre-built worlds. We join their platforms, we play by their rules, and we scroll through their feeds. But what if that whole model was about to get flipped completely on its head? What if you could build your very own social network from the ground up in about the time it takes to watch a TV commercial?
And this slide, right here, this really gets to the heart of it all. On one side, you've got the old way, the internet we've all gotten used to. These huge centralized platforms where big companies set the rules, they control the feed, and they own all your data. But then, on the other side, you have this totally new way of thinking. Your rules, your purpose, your community. It's really the difference between just renting a tiny apartment in someone else's massive digital skyscraper and being the architect of your very own custom-built home.
And let's be super clear here. This isn't just some minor update to your favorite app. No way. We're talking about a huge, fundamental shift away from those big one-size-fits-all feeds. The whole era of just passively scrolling and consuming content, well, it's making way for something much more active, where we get to create the digital spaces we actually want to be in. This is a core idea in the move towards what a lot of people are already calling Web 4.0. And the whole thing is powered by one single, incredible breakthrough.
So, the big question is, how does a massive shift like this actually happen? Well, it's not some slow, gradual change. It's more like a lightning strike, a single, mind-blowing technological leap that just changes the entire game of what's possible online. And the key to it all? It's not about new features, it's not about a ton of money, it's all about speed.
30 seconds. Seriously, just let that number hang in the air for a moment. Not 30 days, not even 30 hours, 30 seconds. That is the actual amount of time it can now take to go from just a simple idea rattling around in your head to a fully functioning, totally personalized online network. Okay, so what is this magic, right? Well, the technical term is instant network instantiation. But don't worry about the jargon. All it really means is that you can describe the community you want to build just using plain English. And then an AI platform, like say Linkspreed, it just handles everything else. It builds the entire backend, all the security stuff, the user interface, the whole shebang, all from one simple sentence you type out.
And the process itself, it's almost ridiculously simple. Seriously, forget about needing to code or rent a bunch of servers. All you do is define your idea. What's it for? Who's it for? What are the basic rules? The AI takes that, builds the entire digital world for you, and bam, in seconds, you launch your network. This is so much more than just a new tool. It's like we're democratizing the very foundation of the internet.
Okay, but what does this actually look like in the real world? The most exciting uses for this aren't the obvious things like, another corporate website or a fan club. The really revolutionary stuff, the game-changing potential, that lies in creating these super specific or maybe temporary or even deeply private communities that up until right now were basically impossible to even imagine, let alone build. All right, check this out for a first example. A network for owners of pre-1980s mechanical typesetting equipment. That sounds insanely specific, right? A social network just for people who own old-school printing presses. But that's exactly the point. That's what makes this tech so powerful.
See, a network like this isn't just for idle chit-chat. Its AI-generated rules could enforce a super strict barter-only system. The currency here isn't money. It's time and skill. Imagine you need a super rare part for your machine. You could offer, say, 4 hours of your repair expertise in trade. A big mainstream platform, it could never handle something this specific. But now, a single enthusiast can spin this up in 30 seconds for the, maybe 50 people on the entire planet who would actually need it?
Okay, so let's switch gears completely. We're going from a very niche hobby to a situation with way higher stakes. Think about this, an ephemeral hub for coordinating during a localized infrastructure failure. Imagine a sudden local crisis, like a gas leak or a blackout that takes out a whole city block. The magic word here is ephemeral. You know how chaotic it is to use public social media during an emergency and all that data just lives online forever? Well, this kind of network is completely different. You could create it with a set lifespan, let's say 72 hours, and its one and only job is to coordinate help. But here's the most important part. It can have a built-in self-destruct button. As soon as the crisis is over, the network and all the sensitive data on it is just gone, permanently deleted.
So the life cycle is incredibly simple. The network is born out of a specific need, it does its one job with absolute laser focus, and then it just vanishes.
without a trace. This whole design solves huge problems with privacy and data hoarding. It makes sure that a temporary crisis doesn't turn into a permanent data vulnerability for everyone involved.
All right, for our third and final example, let's go from a public crisis to the super secure, very private world of cutting-edge science. Think about this, a private validation chain for a groundbreaking quantum computing paper. We all know the traditional way of getting a scientific paper peer-reviewed can be painfully slow, not very transparent, and just bogged down in bureaucracy.
But now, just imagine a researcher spinning up a private network for only the 15 experts on the entire planet who are qualified to review their sensitive work. To get in, you need a unique cryptographic key. That's it. Inside this totally secure bubble, reviewers can debate, they can discuss, they can even stake their professional reputation on whether the paper's methods are sound. It's a super fast, transparent, and incredibly secure way to get groundbreaking research validated way before it even gets close to a traditional journal.
Okay, so let's back up. A vintage hobby club, a temporary crisis response team, and a small group of elite scientists. What on earth do these three things have in common? Well, each one points to a future where our digital spaces are no longer one-size-fits-all. They're purpose-built. They're tailored exactly to what we need, no matter how specific or how short-lived that need is.
There's a line in the source material that just captures the spirit of this whole shift perfectly. It says, "We are no longer limited to joining the networks that others build. We are now free to build." I mean, think about that. For the very first time, the power to create these digital worlds isn't locked away in some corporate headquarters in Silicon Valley. It's in our hands, in your hands. And really, that's the ultimate takeaway here. The ability to create a precise, focused, even temporary network whenever you need one, it's so much more than just a cool new feature. It's the true democratization of our digital lives. We are finally moving away from a one-size-fits-all internet to one that's infinitely customizable, one that's built by everyone, for everyone. Which, of course, brings us to the final thought. And it's really a question for you. With this kind of power, this kind of incredible speed right at your fingertips, what are you going to create? If you could build any community, any space, any network at all in just 30 seconds, what would it be?